Hello friends, it's your boy Treya, and today I am here for my draft analysis for the EDC Pokemon Draft League. This is going to be Season 12 of EDC. We are in the Ignite Division, so big shout out to the mods and specifically Fist to Your Doom for reaching out to me and inviting me to come play. There's a lot of very scary coaches, a lot of really good Wi-Fi coaches in the community. I believe there's some people that are new to the Wi-Fi scene. I believe probably new to YouTube as well, so I'm very excited to get to meet these new people and have some hopefully really good battles. And as you can see, we got the first pick in the draft, and the people that made these tiers, they decided that Dialga Origin, they thought it was a fraud. So they allowed it in Paldea decks. I have not seen this before, and me getting first pick, I thought it was a no-brainer to at least try it. There were other things like Chien-Pao and Dragapult, Iron Valiant, Spectre, all those kind of things. Those were on the board, but you never get to see Dialga Origin, so not only did I want to pick it up just because I wanted to try it, but it's for the content, man. You know, it's going to be on every thumbnail. It's hopefully going to be Kill Leader. We're going to have a lot of fun. So we picked up Dialga Origin first pick. I think it's, like I said, it's a no-brainer. It's an amazing mon. It's a box art, so it's got all good stats. Its lowest stat is its speed at 90. Its offenses are 100 in attack and 150 special attack with 100 defense or 100 HP, 120 defense and SPDEF. This mon is just incredibly tanky. You basically have to be Bandit or Specs to be able to take it out with one hit unless I'm invested. Then it's very hard to be able to OHKO this thing with basically anything. It gets amazing coverage, it gets Stealth Rocks. Its setup isn't the best, it just gets Iron Defense and Bulk Up, so no special setup. But getting access to things like T-Wave, Rocks, Roar can make for some very annoying sets, especially when this thing only has 2 weaknesses, which we do cover very nicely with our next few Pokemon. And yeah, this Pokemon is just a no-brainer. It's got amazing coverage. Its stats are just insane, and even though it is item locked because it is forced to hold the Adamant Crystal, it does give a 1.2 power boost to our stab moves, which basically just means we're doing a lot of damage, and for the most part we don't even have to run investment to be able to OHKO things that are with neutral moves. So yeah, I think this is a pretty no competition first pick. So going into our second pick, I really wanted to pick up probably one of the best support mons to be able to support Dialga. We decided to go ahead and pick up Zapdos, and I feel like Zapdos is just a perfect fit next to Dialga. Dialga has 2 weaknesses in ground and fighting, and Zapdos resists fighting and is immune to ground. Not only that, but a majority of fighting moves are physical, and Zapdos being a physical wall with the ability Static that has a 30% chance to paralyze physical attacks that make contact. I think this is a no-brainer of a pickup. Zapdos, very good offensively, very underrated offensively. It's got good speed stat in 100, and it's got a very strong special attack stat that a lot of people sleep on in base 125. And I think it's just a perfect mon for this. It can be a fast pivot to be able to get Dialga in on some Pokemon that may not be able to touch it, and it can also just soak up hits. It just pairs very well with Dialga offensively and defensively. So next up, we got our third pick, and we kind of just wanted to pick one of the best mons left, and so we decided to pick up Darkrai. Darkrai, I've used it before. I think it's a good Pokemon. A lot of people think it's a fraud, but I'm here to prove those people wrong. I'm a big supporter of Darkrai. It's got great coverage, really good bulk. I feel like it's very versatile in the sets and the items it can run. It gets nasty plot, and then like I said, the coverage is amazing. You can run AV sets and guaranteed take a hit and revenge anything you want. And its speed tier for this this format is just very good. 125 is a very good speed tier with not many Pokemon being able to outspeed it, and the ones that do, it has a pretty good matchup into. So yeah, Darkrai, third pick. I feel like it was a no-brainer. Going into our next pick, we decided to go ahead and pick up Rillaboom. So I think Rillaboom does fare very well with this team. I think offensively and defensively. I think Rillaboom plus Darkrai is a very scary offensive core to try to switch into. You add on a fast pivot like Zapdos and a defensive monster in Dialga Origin, this team is already looking very hard to not only break but switch into. Rillaboom also has the Grassy Surge ability that allows it to put up the grassy terrain, which basically removes Dialga's weakness to the move, specifically Earthquake, which is one of the main ways that people are going to try to run coverage for Dialga, so Rillaboom being able to basically negate that is also really nice. and adding another bulky pivot next to Zapdos is going to be really nice to be able to enable the Dialga as well as the Darkrai. Next up, we decided to stop waiting and go ahead and get our Terra captain. So the Terra rules for this league are open Terra. So we can terrestrialize into any Terra type we want. We just have to inform our opponent of it beforehand. And you can have up to, I believe, 2 Terra captains. And almost everything on the board was allowed to Terra, aside from the extremely broken stuff. So even stuff like King Gambit, Tornadus Therian, those type of mons, those were able to Terra, even like Urshifu Rapid. So there was a lot of really scary stuff on the board that was able to Terra. That was up to, I believe, 25 points. We decided to pick up Terra Skeledirge. I think it was a bit undervalued. I believe it was only 17 points. So we decided to take that. Like I said, I think it was a bit of a steal, and it also fit our team very well. So Skeledirge, being another Pokemon weak to ground, but being paired next to Rillaboom was really nice. It gives us our first Ice resist, as well as a Fire resist that our team needed as well. And Skeledirge being with Terra, we can basically just choose to wall any Pokemon in the game between its insanely good defensive stats as well as its ability Unaware. We can kind of just shut down any Pokemon that we choose to with our Terra type. Whatever Terra type we select, we can kind of just wall any one Pokemon, maybe even 2 or 3, that we may match up very poorly into. So I think Skeledirge was overall a very good Pokemon, even without Terra. Definitely not worth the 17 points, but still a very good fit for this team. So yeah. Going into the next Pokemon, we have Iron Crown at pick 6. So we decided to draft Iron Crown, one because we needed a Psychic type. Our team was looking just a little bit weak to certain typings, and Iron Crown kind of fit that pretty well. Going Double Steel next to Dialga meant that we had an actual Fairy resist as well as a Dragon resist, which Dialga really did not want to switch into. So now Dialga can kind of be forced, or can be allowed to come in at higher health and do some more damage. Iron Crown also pairs very well as another pivot next to Rillaboom and Zapdos, and we also do get Grassy Sheet shenanigans with Calm Mind, Stored Power, Agility, whatever set we want to run with Iron Crown, and it can be a very, very scary late game sweeper if our opponent's Dark type is either not in the game or already knocked out. Iron Crown can definitely put in some work. It's got a very good speed tier. 98 is very good. It's just barely under the 100, which sucks, but where it is, it forces a lot of Pokemon to run boosting natures instead of being able to run Adamant or Modest, and so I think that is very good for this team. So yeah, Iron Crown, I think it was a great pickup for this team. Next up, we decided to get our Fairy. So after this last pick with Iron Crown, I had decided on 2 Pokemon, and I had backups for those 2 just in case they got sniped. And after Iron Crown went, within the next round and a half, the 2 Pokemon I had lined up next because I was on wheel, both of those got sniped, the backups for both of those got sniped, and the backups for those backups all got sniped. And so I'm sitting here really just wondering where this team is going to go now because I'm so far behind. I had a lot of different bulky waters and fairies lined up that just kept going back to back to back. And so I decided to pick up Florges. It was one of the only fairies left. I'm not necessarily saying that Florges is a bad fairy, and it's definitely not bad on this team. It just wasn't my first choice because it's not really, it doesn't fit my play style that well. But Florges, very bulky Pokemon physically and specially. It's got good special attack. Its coverage is a little lacking and it kind of gets walled by most steel types. But being able to wish pass into Pokemon like Dialga Origin is going to be very strong, as well as being paired next to Dialga and Iron Crown. We have a very strong Fairy Dragon Steel Core. And so yeah, I'm very much looking forward to using Florges, and I think we'll be able to actually access its utility a little bit more than most people can. So going into our 8th pick, we decided to pick up Hitmontop, and the reason for this is we actually had absolutely no removal, and I believe on the original team I did not have Hitmontop, and I decided to pick it up in Grace. Hitmontop, I think, is a very underrated Pokemon, especially when you give it Terra. This Pokemon hits like a truck. If you run it offensively, it gets Intimidate to be a little bit bulkier, which is a very good ability to pair with Pokemon like Florges as well as Zapdos and Dialga. Being able to get Rapid Spin is a very good thing for me, considering Dialga cannot run Boots and we can get Spite stacked. But other than that, Hitmontop is going to be a very niche Pokemon. It's not going to come to too many games, especially since we do have the Terra Skeledirge. But Hitmontop definitely does have its uses, and Choice Banded Technician Mach Punch hits like a truck if there's no resist left. So going into our last pick, this is another Pokemon that we decided to get in Grace Period. I believe originally we had Hitmonlee and Mudsdale. And we decided to, or no, it was Okidogi and Mudsdale. We decided to draw both of those for Terra Hitmontop as well as Donphan. And Donphan, I think, was a no-brainer to pick up whenever I saw it got dropped. It's another Pokemon with removal that I think is very slept on sometimes. It has very sneaky bulk with also a very good attack stat. Being able to Rapid Spin and then still be able to do some damage with something like a Priority Ice Shard on a flying type. Or get a very strong EQ or a knockoff off before going down, I think is very good. And like I said, our team definitely does benefit from having hazard removal, and so I thought these two as the final picks were very good for us, and I think that Donphan rounded out this team very nicely. Alright, so just to recap this team, like I said, I think Dialga is going to be a very broken Pokemon. I do not personally think that this Pokemon was allowed. Maybe it does not pass the fraud allegations. I guess we will find out by the end of the season, but I intend to showcase its abilities as best as possible. I think we built a very good team around it. Is it perfect? No, but no team is perfect. But I'm very excited to get to use this team. There's a lot of Pokemon I'm very comfortable with, as well as a few new ones. Terra Skeledirge is going to be a monster. Iron Crown plus Rillaboom is going to be good. Even our low tiers like Hitmontop and Donphan, very excited to use. So yeah, like I said, appreciation to the mods and the commissioners over at EDC for allowing me to play. It was very much appreciated being able to come in here and draft a very fun team alongside all these very competitively skilled coaches. So yeah, I look forward to our upcoming season. We play Dashing Sceptile week 1. We have a very long rivalry going. I believe I'm up 2-1 on Dashing, and so I believe it's my turn to get my ass kicked. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys for week 1. Peace.